it's John Colley here, and I want to talk to you very briefly about podcasting on Spotify, why you have to do it now, and why it's going to be really important for your podcast. So podcasting on Spotify, that is what it's all about. Spotify is now a critical channel through which to broadcast your podcast. And I'm going to explain to you why that is and how you can get your podcast onto Spotify. It's very straightforward. But please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and you'll make sure if you do that, you'll get lots more videos like this from me. And if you find the video helpful, please don't forget to give it the old thumbs up. Now, Spotify has over 250 million listeners across more than 75 countries worldwide, and they're waiting to discover podcasts just like yours. It's the second most popular place in the world to listen to podcasts after Apple. And that means having a listing on Spotify is an absolute must-have. Now, in 2019, Spotify made its ambitions very clear. They acquired two podcasting networks, Gimlet Media and Parcast, but they also acquired a company called Anchor that offers easy-to-use tools for making podcasts. Now, you don't need to adopt those, but it shows how committed Spotify is to making podcasts. And this spending spree cost them over $400 million, so they must think there's money in this. Spotify is now signing up exclusive deals with big podcast shows like The Ringer and the Bill Simmons flagship show. They also recently signed up an exclusive deal with podcasting giant Joe Rogan and his show, The Joe Rogan Experience. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to sign up an exclusive deal, nor, frankly, are you likely to be offered one. I'm still waiting for mine. But Spotify is no longer a platform you can ignore for your podcast. However, while Apple has led the field, their approach has been very hands-off. Apple has allowed you to come and go as you like and have really made very little effort to monetize podcasts. However, Spotify, having made all this investment, is likely to want to recoup their investment with advertising. And this opens up the opportunity to monetize your show on their platform in the future. Now, advertisers will pay anything from $18 to $50 per 1,000 listeners in a show. Do the math. Joe Rogan reaches 190 million downloads, and that's 3 million in ads per month. I mean, the numbers are phenomenal. So how can you get your show on Spotify? Well, the good news is it's not difficult. Every major podcasting host has the ability to connect your podcast to Spotify. Let me give you an example. This is my online learning podcast on Libsyn, and you can see that in two places I can click on it and connect my show, that show there, to Spotify. So it's as easy as doing that. And you just make the connections and then Libsyn does the rest. And this is true of Buzzsprout. I'm also using Bcast on my other show. So it's very, very easy to set this up. You simply doing in the back dashboard of your existing show and then let the host do the rest. However, once you have done this, you need to go over to Spotify, create an account or log in, and then claim your podcast. And let me show you how easy that is to do. Firstly, we need to log into our Spotify account or create a new one if you don't have one already. Next, you will be asked for your RSS feed so that Spotify can link to your podcast. So we hit the Get Started button. Spotify will ask you for your RSS feed, which you can get from your podcast hosting site. You need to paste it into the box. Here, you can see that I have pasted in my link and Spotify has found my podcast. This is because it was submitted from my podcast host. Spotify asks me to confirm that this is my podcast, which I'm pleased to say that it is. Now, Spotify wants me to verify that the podcast is mine by sending me a code to my email address. This takes about a minute to get into your inbox. I hit the green button to confirm that I want them to send me the code. This blank box appears for me to input the code that Spotify has emailed me. Now, Spotify asks for some basic information about my podcast: where it's made, the language it's in, and the primary category of the podcast itself. Then they ask me to add up to 3 subcategories to make the podcast easier to search for. I selected just 2: education and courses. Before you hit the confirm button, Spotify gives you a chance to confirm the details you have entered. Then that's it. I'm in. My podcast is now owned by me, and I can access information and analytics on Spotify. You can see it in my catalog here, and that is the process for signing up and claiming your podcast on Spotify. So, once your show is up and running, all you need to do is grow your audience, and of course, this is going to take time. But in the meantime, let me cheer you up. There are other ways to monetize your podcast through your audience on Spotify and elsewhere. Consider the following. You can get sponsors for your podcast. Now, you'll need to have a certain amount of volume of listeners to make that worthwhile, but sponsorships are certainly available. And hey, if you've got your own products and services, sponsor it yourself. That's what I do with my mid-roll sponsoring. You can increase the sale of your existing products and services by, if nothing else, having a widget on the sidebar where your show is, and then people will see your widget and they may go across and buy. You can, of course, make the most of your increased credibility from your podcast by selling coaching, because people will see you as an authority, they'll listen to you every week, and they'll want to get personal advice from you. Of course, you can also bring in affiliate marketing very easily by having, again, widgets on the side of your show notes and your podcast page on your blog. You can spin off books and audiobooks from your podcast, taking the content and turning them into content that you can sell on Amazon in that way. You can, of course, also go to things like crowdfunding, and you could put together and host a virtual summit, which you could do through your podcast. There is so much that you can do. But at the heart of it, the message for this video is that you have to be looking to put your podcast on Spotify, because you're absolutely missing a huge audience if you're not. And that's an opportunity you really cannot afford to miss. So that's it. It's a quick look into podcasting on Spotify, how to do it, and why you should be doing it today. Now, please don't forget to subscribe and drop a thumbs up for this video if you find the information helpful. So that's it, podcasting on Spotify. I hope you found it really helpful and interesting. I really love making this for you, and I'll see you again very soon in another one of my videos.